Hello comrades. The craziest incident ever happened so far in this year 2025.
Trump getting upset and losing his temper. I think this is probably the first time we have seen it like this on camera.
While 10 months is still left in this year 2025, the craziest ever incident happened due to which geopolitics has taken a huge spark of fire. Now to tell you about it, we all really know about the Ukraine and Russia conflict, right? Since 2022, Ukraine is really being captured by Russia at various places, and more importantly, US and the European countries are literally funding a lot more money, a lot more troops, and more importantly, the other aids in order to make Ukraine stronger, just to defend Russian troops to avoid capturing much more places in Ukraine. Since this has been happening for the past 3 years, Ukraine is able to defend stronger and stronger, not just because of their own power, because the whole world is really standing alongside Ukraine for the past 3 years. Now, since Donald John Trump's arrival from 2025, January, he is always in a mood to stop this particular war and to end up with a peace deal.
I think they have to make peace. Their people are being killed, and I think they have to make peace.
And he also started the process of negotiation with Vladimir Putin and more importantly with Zelenskyy. Now, owing to this, what happened? Zelenskyy has been invited to Oval Space in United States, where literally Donald John Trump and higher officials are about to gather together in order to have a stronger negotiation and to speak about the peace deal regarding this Russia and Ukraine conflict. Now, while Donald John Trump seems to be a very good business owner and more importantly, he seems to be a very good business strategist, the whole world alongside Ukraine thought that he is really going to do something in favor to Ukraine and something in favor to Russia.
We've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful?
But it absolutely not. He is literally taking too much advantage, or in fact, he is literally giving too much advantage to Russia in this particular negotiation. And to tell you about it in simple terms, Ukraine is no longer going to get any sort of financial support, any sort of weapons, or any sort of troops, or any sort of the land or the areas that has been captured by Russia.
The U.S. is pausing military aid to Ukraine. How big a blow is that to their fight against Russia?
Now, while Joe Biden seemed to favor Ukraine a lot more better way by means of giving a very good weapons, very good troops, at the same time a huge tons and tons of money, Donald John Trump does exact opposite to Zelenskyy and Ukraine. And this one has been literally proved in the conversation, in fact the heated argument that took place between the Ukraine President Zelenskyy and Donald John Trump. Now, this particular conversation has been started by Vance, who is the Vice President of USA. So he literally told that this particular war conflict has not been handled properly by the Joe Biden's government. In the sense, they added more and more triggers instead of stopping this particular war. Now, what he meant is, he literally points out the support that has been given to Ukraine in terms of weapons, money, and other armored troops. So, in simple terms, he tells that diplomacy is very important to put the war to an end and to bring peace into the nation. And if at all, the situation which is so critical could even become far worse than everyone else thinks.
For 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Now, while American Vice President literally starts to speaking all of it, Zelenskyy interrupts all of a sudden. While this is not normal because America seems to have higher authority in that particular oval space, everyone literally shocked about Zelenskyy's actions. Now, Zelenskyy started his level of conversation by telling that since 2014, we have really started to face this particular problem, and for the past 10 years, we have lost most of our places, and Vladimir Putin never agreed for any negotiation. In fact, he is really different in his words and he is really different in his actions. While most of the other European presidents, French president, Italian president, German president, they are really trying to negotiate alongside Putin. Putin simply disagrees to it, and diplomacy is no longer the solution for it, and you have to try a different way. In fact, you have to be alongside us and support more and more for this particular war.
We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about?
And guess what? In the meantime, Vladimir Putin has already captured 20% of the Ukraine so far in this year 2025 due to this particular conflict that ever took place. Now, all what's happening is While Ukraine wants the 20% of the land from Russia, which they have already captured, Donald John Trump literally wants Ukraine to forget all of it and to go for a peaceful day. Let Russia keep those 20% land within themselves. And by means of this, literally Ukraine and Russia could sign a peaceful deal. But Ukraine is not even ready to give 1% or even a penny percent of the particular land of whatever Russia has been captured. So this literally lead to the first ever heated argument between Zelensky and the vice president. Now here's where once again JD Vance interferes and tells that you don't have the power, you don't have troops, you don't have money, and you don't have even people to fight. Why? Because literally most of the youngsters have died due to the particular war, and even public people are willing to fight for this war, and public people are getting ready. In fact, why do you still want to make the situation to go far worse? Already it's being so catastrophic. It's your responsibility to stop the war, and it's your responsibility to seek diplomacy than making this worse than ever. And Zelenskyy once again, oh, did you see it? Is it true? Did you see it? Did you come to Ukraine? And once again, JD Vance, I never saw it in real, but I literally saw it on videos.
To Ukraine, that you say what problems we have.
I have been to.
Count one.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems?
Now what Zelenskyy tells? It's all right. Now just come to Ukraine and come to the war place and see, and now you better tell or describe the situation. Without that, you better don't elaborate whatever is there in your mind. Now again JD Vance asks, oh, you don't have any problems, it's all sorted out, you're safe, you're secured. And once again Zelenskyy tells, everyone has problems at different level, and we are at war, we also have a different kind of problems in our own country. I completely agree with it. And this one literally disrespected everybody else, including Donald John Trump, the vice president, and the other people who is really in that particular conference. And do you guess where it's all happening? It's happening in the place where all the powerhouses, all the media, they're literally taking the videos of those heated arguments that's taking place. So JD Vance was a bit frustrated. Here's where the ego clash started, and JD Vance literally told that, look Zelenskyy, while you were at the war, we gave all kind of support. The war support that you need, the money support that you need, everything else. You need to show some gratitude, and you literally disrespecting us at this point of time. This is America and this is oval space, and you have no rights to speak like this in front of the whole media. The whole media is really watching us, and you have to control your attitude.
Bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
And once again, the vice president asked, have you ever shown gratitude so far to the US president for supporting you this much in this particular war and other things? And Zelenskyy said, of course yes. I'm not showing gratitude to you, but I'm showing gratitude to the US people. And once again, here's where JD Vance comes again and asks the same question. Did you ever show the gratitude today? And yes, where once again we could see that how the argument started to get heated up and started to get worse. So this is just a beginning. And now going forward, we will discover more and more worst arguments that has been exchanged between Trump and Zelenskyy. Now, the moment when JD Vance asked this particular question, did you ever show the gratitude today to the US people? He simply told the statement that you might be a superpower, you might be invincible today, but not anymore in the future. And why? Because you think that you have the Atlantic Ocean between the Russia and USA. But mark my words, you will definitely get the consequences that we get today.
Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
Now basically what the Ukraine president tells us, in fact, the Europe and Ukraine idea, whatever the ideology they have in simple terms, is if at all Ukraine has been completely captured by Russia, they start to capture Germany, Italy, France, other European countries completely. And once the whole Europe has been captured, they start to come to USA. You might think that there is an Atlantic Ocean between Russia and USA, but trust me, this will literally create a huge consequences for you in future. Now to tell you an example, let's consider India and China and Pakistan. Imagine China is able to capture Pakistan and China is able to capture Sri Lanka. Now where do we even target next? India, right? Why? Because they get able to capture the countries around India, and next they could probably come to India alongside their troops in order to dominate the whole world completely. Now this seems to be a hypothetical situation, but this is exactly what Ukraine and Europe describing to the whole world. Now here's where the supreme leader comes in, Donald John Trump. He literally tells Zelenskyy that you just don't have the cards, you just don't have the power to negotiate, you just don't have any authority, you just don't have power, you don't have resources. It's the best time for you to surrender, it's the best time for you to negotiate and go into the process of diplomacy. Now again, Zelensky, in fun, replies, "This is not a game. I'm pretty serious. I'm really concerned about my country and my nation, my people. I want stronger and huge negotiation. In fact, I want a stronger support from you in order to take over all my areas back and maintain the strong dominance over them." Now again, Donald John Trump interrupts. "You look, Mr. Zelensky, you are really humiliating us in front of the whole world media, and not just that, you started to gamble the whole world by means of World War III. In the sense, he literally means that if the World War III ever started, and it's all because of you, and that's what Donald Trump exactly and indirectly means to Zelensky. And after that, once again, DJ Vance comes into the picture and tells that you have to thank America for protecting you from the disastrous moment for these many years. And when the argument is at the extreme heated position, once again Zelensky seeks permission, "Can I speak something?" And Donald John Trump literally stops him. "Look, you are literally burying in the soil. Your country is drowning in economy. Your nation is at high threat. Your people, Ukraine people, are literally dying daily. Just imagine, my friend, if no troops, no soldiers, no weapons, no money comes from our side, Russia could literally capture Ukraine in 2 weeks of time. We have been supporting you for 3 long years. Now it's time to end it." Now, in fact, Ukraine president told the same, that it's not just 2 weeks, it's just 3 days. And Donald John Trump once again told that it's not even going to be 3 days. It could be even less than that, because Russia has a lot more power, and it's your responsibility once again to come for diplomacy and peace negotiation.
We didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me.
equipment.
You invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days. This is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks.
And Donald John Trump again tells Zelensky that, "Look, you just don't have power, you don't have people, you don't have money, you are burying in the soil daily, your people are dying daily. It's your responsibility again to take care of your people by means of signing for this diplomacy and peaceful negotiation." Now all what we could do is, we could probably seek permission from Vladimir Putin for ceasefire. In the sense, you will never be attacked anymore, your people will never be killed anymore. We can speak, we can go for strong negotiations alongside Vladimir Putin. Now, Zelensky again tells that Vladimir Putin is not a very good negotiator. As we saw earlier, he used to have words in a different direction and actions in another different direction. So, Putin is no longer a good person for a negotiation and peaceful talks. And here's where Donald John Trump once again told that, no problem at all. Just don't mind his character. He used to break negotiations with Obama, Joe Biden, but not with me. We have a very good relationship. I could probably help you for the ceasefire, and I could probably help you for the peaceful negotiation and diplomacy. And once this particular conversation have took place for a prolonged time, in the end, the journalist has been sent off alongside Ukraine President Zelensky, and the meal that has been prepared for Zelensky for serving purpose hasn't been served. He has been sent back to Ukraine from Oval Space. And in the end of the day, Donald John Trump posted a tweet in the Twitter by telling that we had a very good conversation with Zelensky. In fact, he really told that the things that we don't understand comes through emotions. He also determined that Zelensky is no longer ready for peace. He wants to take advantage of the United States of America and to negotiate more and more with Russia. In fact, he is no longer ready for a peace deal at all. And more importantly, Donald John Trump also tells that we never allow for it. In the sense, he indirectly means that US is no longer going to supply weapons or no longer going to fund for the war. And to Zelensky, in simple terms, he told that you better come to US or you better come to Oval Place if at all you need a peace deal. But never ever we want to support this war. Never ever we are going to support you with the troops, or never ever we are going to give you any sort of backup for this particular conflict once again. Now, basically what Donald John Trump wants is to sign the peace deal with Vladimir Putin by leaving the 20% of the captured land by Russia. But Zelensky is not ready for it. And both of them, both the vice president and president, mentioned that Zelensky have disrespected USA today. So in fact, we could able to find that Zelensky had a tough time, the tough day ever in his life because of the particular argument took place and because of the stand America currently taking place at this point of time. In the sense, they no longer going to support Ukraine for the war. At the same time, they are really going to support a lot more for Vladimir Putin by means of giving powerful negotiations to Putin, and at the same time unfair negotiations to Ukraine as well. Now, while two countries seems to fight a lot, had a heated arguments, one country literally watched everything in silence, observed peacefully, and they have their silent laugh, who is none other than Russia. So Russia literally took a strong and huge upper hand by means of this particular argument. And why? Because just don't need to do anything, and there is a higher and higher probability that they could get that 20% of that Ukraine land that they have been already captured. And at the same time, for US, they could still able to get the minerals on the ores. Deal is about to take place. US is really asking for the minerals and the wars that is really present in Ukraine, not just for something to granted instead of it. In fact, they are really asking for compensation with which US has been spent for this particular war for the past 3 years. Now, while the war seems to be favor Ukraine for a longer and longer period of time, but now this particular conversation and the heated argument literally turned the situation completely upside down. Russia seems to dominate too much and Ukraine starts to lose the grip. In fact, they have the unfair situation at this point of time. Now, if at all Third World War even happens, US could even contribute to Russia than to any other countries. And that is what even Ukraine and other people are really fearing about. Because if Ukraine and Europe is already together, literally America and Russia will oppose them in a strong manner. And that is what seems to happen by this particular argument that ever took place. So concluding, it's all about the unfair situation that has happened to Ukraine so far. In this year 2025, while 10 months is still left, this war is going to be more and more dangerous, in fact deadly dangerous and unfair to Ukraine, and Vladimir Putin took all kind of upper hand and all kind of advantage alongside him. And if at all US and Russia partners together and able to fight strongly with Ukraine and other European countries, who is really going to have a huge advantage, who is really going to dominate this particular war? Comment your answers below. Alright, so if you have any deep insights or if you have any other comments or any queries, comment below. I could probably clarify it, or if at all any additional points to be added, you could still comment below. I could probably clarify it for you as well. Alright, so see you in the next video. Until then, bye bye for now.